Hi, I'm Erin Marcus, former corporate executive turned entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. Welcome to the Ready Yet podcast. We're excited to bring you more than 100 episodes of interviews and insights designed to help entrepreneurs get the financial and emotional freedom they need in order to build a business and a life they're proud of. All right, welcome to this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. My guest today, Colleen Biggs. We were chatting before we got started about your network is your net worth and all those great things. And I can't wait to get into more of that with you, amongst other things, I'm sure. So before we do all that, though, why don't you give everyone a little who you are and what you do from the official version?
Heck yeah. So who am I? I am a 52-year-old woman that's married and I live in Arizona. I have 7 grown children, 12 grandkids. The 13th was born at 6:30 this morning.
Oh my God,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
I get to go to the hospital today. I wanted to give them a little space. They got to have their time. And then we'll be going to hug the baby later today. So
How
that's
exciting is that? I think you and I are the same age and I have no children and thus no grandchildren. I have some great nieces and nephews and I cannot even wrap my head around how anybody does all that.
I just don't know. My life would just it would feel very different because my
Right.
life is so full with that. The opposite of that, it would feel empty without it, which but if it wasn't there, I wouldn't have understood the full, right? So I think it's great. And I always love to start with who I am. So thanks for asking that because I think we jump into what you do so fast.
Yeah.
I hate it at networking events when someone walks up and they flip their business card. You know how they do it. And they like, flip it in their finger and hand it to you. And they're like, hey, I'm Bill. What are you doing?
Right.
And I'm like, not this conversation. I'll tell you that right now.
The way I'm doing this. It's so
So
true. It's connect. I wrote an ebook and this is like how I try to connect as a human first.
thank you. I always love to just say, treat it like a dinner party. If you were at a dinner party with other couples you didn't know, you'd be like, hey, do you guys live around here? Do you have kids? Are you married? What do you do for a living comes after you try to get to know the person. So that's how I treat networking. I'm always about who I am and those types of things and how I got connected to come into that room in the first place, who I know, that type of thing, right? Yesterday I was at a networking event. You'll love this, Erin. And the ladies at the table, the little card was like, what kind of energy do you look for when you walk into a room? And what kind of energy do you bring to a room? And boy, did that get into some fun stories, but we were like friendly, fun, welcoming, confidence. We were talking about all the energy. And I was like, boy, ladies I hung out with this last week and the energy, oh my gosh, it was like so bad.
It's crazy. Like
We just got into this conversation about my vacation. Then another lady got into a conversation about her marriage. And then we just started to get to know each other. Like I now know that she likes spring training games. I know that she was married for 32 years. I never would have gotten in that conversation. It was like, oh, you work for True West Credit Union? What do you do?
And then that would have stopped, right? That would have stopped right there. I had a group I used to live, I don't live there anymore. It's too far. But we used to do we started out calling it a networking party. And it was a situation where someone won like a $250 gift card to a restaurant at the chamber holiday party. So yay. So she's, we'll take a couple people. And then more people heard about it and they're like, I want to come. I'll just pay for myself. Can I come? And that turned into a monthly dinner party where we never talked about business at all.
Those are my favorite. And I started that right through COVID because I was like, I can't stay locked up anymore. I got to get out. And I was like, these restaurants are open. They were starting to open up in Arizona. And I'd invite a girlfriend for like happy hour and then I found out that I was going to the same restaurant, meeting different women. And I said, y'all know each other. So let's just all get together. And I did a happy hour. And we probably had 20 ladies to 25 ladies. And we did that for a straight year. Like once a month.
We did it. We got so out of control that the steakhouse gave us the private room. They just gave it to us.
They're like, we're done.
We're putting them in the corner. Yeah. You guys just go for it. But here's the thing. I think this is more important now. Mm-hmm. One, post-COVID, whether you live in a lockdown state or not, there's this need for connection. And I also think AI, people who are using AI to create content instead of create efficiencies. And these Autobots that are hitting you with DMing and selling, pitching your widget as soon as you make a friend. And half the time, even if you don't accept their request, there's such a lack of actual connection in business.
It is. It's hilarious. And I'm so glad you got into that. So that just was the perfect lead in for me to say what I do.
Oh, perfect.
And
Wonderful.
so for 22 years, I've been a business coach. And it wasn't a business coach 20 years ago. It was a business consultant, but now everyone likes to call it a coach. So whatever you want to call me, that's what I am. I help women generate more money in their businesses so that they can be proud of them, right? They can be financially independent. That's my goal. I love business. And I know that so many people love what they do, but they haven't a clue how to run a business.
I said it all right. Doing the thing that the business does and growing the business is two different things.
But I felt the two steps I learned in business were these two steps. You need to tell everybody about you, which is why I created the online community for the LEAP community. It's why I do in-person large women conferences in Arizona. You've got to tell everybody about you. Every stage I have, every platform I build, I do it for businesses to tell everybody about them, right? Just like your podcast, my podcast.
Right.
I'm on your
podcast. That's why we share the platform.
Right. I'm telling everybody about me today.
100%.
Right? The second piece is build long-lasting relationships. If you do those two things really well, you will be extremely successful.
Yes.
And like we were talking about earlier, it's not about throwing your net out to reach these people that don't necessarily know you. What you do is you show up on every platform you're able to put yourself on, and you show up as yourself. You talk about who you are, what you do, you show your personality, you show your everything, right? Just be transparent and authentic.
Completely authentic. And then the other piece I would add to it is be of service.
Oh, yeah. Serve first. Right? I agree with that. Like, you've got to serve first and be of service to other people. And that's, again, behind everything that I do. I'm always of service. And women are like, you got to teach me, how do you fill a room so easily at a conference? You get 140 ladies there like it's nothing. And I said, because I'm of service to them. Like, what I'm doing for them is a service. They're coming to this for them.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You have built years of a credential of being of service. People fool themselves. We lie to ourselves and we think that I can't wait to get your responses. We think our freebie is of service. No, it's not. You're trying to get someone's email address.
Yeah.
And which is fine. You can do that. That it has its place, but that's not quite what we mean.
No. When I'm talking about making long-lasting relationships with people, I'm talking about true connection. Now, social media is a place today where we can connect. And I just advised a client the other day, because she's working on 12-week goals. And I just advised her that hour a day or half hour a day, 4 days a week that you like to scroll social media. Is it fun for you? And she's, yeah, I enjoy it. Pulls me away from my work. I said, what if it was work? What if that half hour on social media was you going to your contacts and like liking something, commenting, it was sharing it. Oh man, this is so great. I shared it on my page. What if you spent that time, like as you were going through, actually connecting with people, maybe even connecting with a few people that are on their feed and connecting with them and saying, I had no idea you knew Amy. She's amazing.
We just had that happen yesterday and we couldn't stop laughing at it because this great person we both know is like, oh my God, you need to meet each other. And we're both like, on it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're good. But that's the thing. That's a whole nother layer that we haven't even talked about yet, which is how now you just get referrals all the time because you filled the biggest social capital bucket that you could possibly fill, which is people that know you. And now they're telling everybody about you. They're telling everybody they know about you.
And I think one of the things that get people hung up is, I agree with everything you're saying, build those lasting relationships, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay, I have 5,000 people there's over 5,000 people I'm connected to on LinkedIn. How am I supposed to have meaningful relationships with all of them? But
You don't.
You don't.
I
That's
don't
not
even know
what
who
we
my
mean.
friends
Right.
are, my quote unquote friends are on Facebook. I've got over 6,000. I have no idea who they are, followers and friends. So here's what I do know. The people that you do stay connected with, someone in your community that you might see every once in a while and they do great posts, or you're like, oh, love that house, or way to go, man. Congratulations on that testimonial, whatever that looks like, right? The algorithms on social media are going to show you relative and things that are like things that you're engaging with the
Mhm.
most, right? It's the way it works, and it changes all the time. So you're going to be, if you're engaging with them, I would say don't try and reach all 5,000. And
Right.
that person, here's the thing that's crazy. I posted about 2.5 years ago of some land that I purchased up north, 5 acres, my husband and I did. And a guy from high school that I was really good friends with said, oh my gosh, that looks so awesome. You got to tell me more about this investment that you did. I look, oh my gosh. I looked at my husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, Scott
Look who it
Meldrum
is.
just text me. Who's that? I'm like, I was like 15 years old. He was a guy in high school. He's like, did you date him? I was like, no,
No.
we didn't date. We were like best friends. So it was really funny because all these years, right, since Facebook started, probably in 2008 or 9, we started maybe becoming friends because it popped up and said, you might know this
Right.
person.
And that's where we all started
Right.
with was actual friends and family.
This person because you went to high school with them.
Actually
You
know
know that,
them.
yeah. This person because they were your neighbor, this
Right.
person. So we're still connected to them. And every once in a while, we'll see something in their feed. So that just goes to tell you, like, people watch from a distance. There's
Yes.
no way he's commenting on a podcast that I did with Aaron.
Right.
He's not commenting on anything.
Not
But then he
interested
saw
in
the
it.
land and he was like, wait, hey, what's going on there? And then all of a sudden he had a comment or messaged me on Facebook. I think you're right there. There's no way we can do that. And I do see people try, they're like, I don't understand. Oh, this is the best example. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I fell into this trap somehow. A lady asked me to start a LinkedIn collaboration with her 2 months after, by the way. She was like, I'm going a different direction. I was like, wait, what?
Hey, what? Here's your
So
here.
I
Good luck.
have 25 women that are on this spreadsheet. It's easy. The first and third Thursday of every month, we all post at the exact same time. We put all of our links in. You go and you share and you
Right.
comment, and it helps the algorithm push everything up so that they're seen more. And basically, we're collaborating at the same time on LinkedIn. But the most beautiful part is we get to each other's stuff. And some of those ladies like will come to a workshop you have, or you go to
Yeah, they
their thing,
become
or
real.
you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I need someone to help me with that. Can you? Because now you're like, you're in my trusted circle.
Right.
So I'm getting to know you, right? So it's like 25 people you didn't know before. Here's the best thing. One of the ladies was like, I'm not getting any clients from this. I'm out. I was like, wait, what? I don't think I've ever gotten a direct client
That
from this,
wasn't right.
where
That's
someone was like, I saw your post today and I want to
right.
sign up
That's not how
for
this
your
works.
coaching. Never. That's never happened. Someone said, I
Anytime
saw you
that's
on stage.
the only time
And they
it's
reached
happened
out
to
on
me
LinkedIn.
is when I've known someone in a different capacity. They saw me on stage.
Totally different.
I met them at a convention, and then the post reminded them they knew me.
Oh, that's it. That's like
That's
you're talking about the eighth impression by then, because
right.
they probably saw so many more, or the 13th impression,
And I
right?
think
So,
this
yeah.
is where people get so messed up. They think that the process is say something brilliant, and the rest of the world goes, here, take my money. And it's just not how, right? Like we were chatting before, there's these different layers of relationships, and people move in and out of them all the time. And your followers are not really your online connections. And I won't even call them followers because I don't even think of them that way. Your online connections
Mm-hmm.
are not really your best quote unquote prospects because they're almost too far out
Yeah.
in that moment.
I think it's very relative to the type of business you have. So let
Yeah.
me share an example. We own with our son and daughter-in-law a catering company here in Arizona called Beyond Basil Mobile Pizzeria. It's an
Oh, cool.
Italian
How fun is
pizza oven.
that?
Yeah, it's Italian pizza oven. This beautiful trailer, not a food truck. It's like a horse trailer converted into
Oh,
this
neat.
elegant, beautiful pizza, I guess, kitchen. And so it rolls up into a wedding. Brides love it. They just think it's the best thing ever. And we do salads and all kinds of stuff. Instagram, is our main way that we promote ourselves, because I've gone to chamber events, I've gone to wedding planners and event spaces. And yeah, it's great to be a preferred vendor in an event space. But I will tell you, when we kick up our Instagram and we are putting out more stories and showing more
100%.
pizza and
Yes.
more weddings, that's where the brides are. When they are planning their wedding, they are going through Instagram planning their wedding. That's what they're doing. And so that is like the channel. So we have to do things like giveaway promotions so that we can get like 50,000 more followers. There's things we have to do to kick up our visibility so that we know exactly when that happens. We get a whole bunch more forms come in and we get more contracts.
That's a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
You have a geographic situation, you
Yep.
have a niche situation, you have a product versus like, this was a really big challenge with me when I moved from my previous business, which was working with families with aging parents, to dropping everything else and just focusing on business coaching because it was what I was doing for free for everyone, everywhere.
Mhm.
Anyway, people with aging parents who need to help them move out of a house and into assisted living, they know they have a problem. I had nothing, I just had to be there when they needed me.
Yeah.
So that I was one of their options is a whole different world than educating somebody on a problem.
It's totally different. It's
Totally different.
totally different. And I have had followers from 5, 6 years ago that liked and was always around. And all of a sudden now, like, I never see them again. I've had people that I've worked with, helped, they've
Yeah.
gotten great to a point. I've empowered them to know the decisions they have to make in their business, and they're off on their own. There's been people that have said, I've been watching you for 2 years. I think I found you on Facebook, and they showed up at one of my conferences.
Mhm.
I think we have to realize that people are not going to respond to our urgency of thinking that they need our help
So
now.
true.
It has to be on their timing when they have realized a problem that they have is hurting them somewhere in their life. It's now become a problem and they need a solution and they go looking for it. Most people don't go and schedule back surgery if they've never had their back hurt. Most people don't go do something that has nothing to do with a
But
symptom that's never shown up yet.
this is why consistency is so important.
It's everything.
It's everything, because in like the marketing 101 MBA speak for what you just explained much better, is only 3% of any audience, any potential buying audience, is looking to buy at any given time. But
Mhm.
those 3 out of 100 people change every day.
Yeah.
So if you're not consistent, then those 3 people can't find you.
I had a lady say once, she asked me a question because she said, when I speak on a stage, I generally convert 98% of the room.
What exactly are you offering? Or
I
what
was like, I just heard you speak and I think you're awesome, but I'm not running to the back of the room. What you offer is for someone that's not me. And what you offer is for someone that's not her and not her. And I think we just need to realize no matter what it is, it will be for the people that it will be for, and it won't be for the people it's not for. And how many of us, me included, have actually done enrollment events and you've brought on people and they're not sure, and you're like, oh, come on, you talk them into it. And they come on, they're the worst clients ever. They
they're
drag their
horrible.
feet, a sack of potatoes through quicksand. You're just like, this is the worst. You have to put 90% of your effort and they're never going to get the results.
And they're never. So I love this so much because the thing that I'm looking at in my business, the thing that I looked at in the last 6 months to rearrange everything I'm doing, if you feel like, this is how I put it, comes down to this: what happens when we chase people? They run away. And so if you feel that, if you feel that in your efforts, if you are grasping, if you are chasing, if you're chasing people, if you're chasing money, if you're chasing solutions, if you have that anxiety, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this feeling? That's not what works.
Mm-mm. No, it's beautifully said. It's exactly that. Whatever that energy is that you're emitting is exactly what you're going to attract, no matter what it is. Our
Yes.
energy and our vibration attracts people, places, things, and events to us. So when you're feeling down or desperate, I felt down or desperate in my lifetime,
Oh my
and I
God.
attracted all of that.
It's
When
horrible.
I was just, oh my gosh, I feel so great. I remember when I had bought a new BMW. I was still working in corporate and I just like walked different. I felt different. It was like this was like a nicer car than my last. I can't like I just had this air of confidence about me because I loved my car. I just loved it. And it made me feel good. And it made me I there was just something about it. I changed that mindset. I changed that, which then I got like a raise that year and I got a promotion. It just was a good year. I bet that had something to do with me and because I felt a certain way about a car I had bought. And that's a BMW. I'm not even talking about a
It
Maserati
wasn't an
or
Aston Martin,
yeah,
right?
or an Aston Martin, right? Or a Bentley. Okay.
Right.
And I the last weekend I was out on vacations, it was like if I one more person talks about their Bentley, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. But anyway,
This goes to say, so one of the things that I tell people and remind myself whenever I get stuck, it's not that the money comes and then you do better and feel better. It's that you do better and feel better, and that's why the money comes.
you have to do to have. You have to be to have.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around. People think, no, I have to have,
And then I'll
so
feel
then I
better.
can
Then
do
I'll
it.
be,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I don't have the money to do that. I have to have and then I'll do. I have to have and then I'll be. It's oh
It's
no.
forever future casting, and we
Mm,
never catch up.
never.
And we never catch up. And I don't know. I had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and it's 54, which is not like a round number.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
a
but four is a
big
round number. Like I'm
force.
52. That's a round
It's a
number.
round number. What did I used to say? I'm in shape. Round's a shape. Right? Round's a shape.
That's really
Right?
cute. That's really cute. I think we just dropped some bombs, like total bomb nuggets for your listeners. Like if they just change that one thing around
Yes.
of being first and doing first and not worrying about the
And
have because that will come and then do it with a service hard and
yes, and the
lead in that way.
caveat I'll give you, a caveat I'll throw out there is this is not the version of go hang out on the thin branches. It's not the version of there's a lot of people out there who there's a fine line between pushing yourself and overextending that creates paralysis,
Oh yeah.
right? So you
Oh
got to
yeah.
find where are the bumpers in your gutters so you can just wiggle your way
Yeah,
forward.
that's why we do what we do. That's why there's mentors out there for individuals based on what they need. And I've had people come to me and they don't need a business coach. They need a mindset coach. They
Right.
don't need a business coach. They need a health coach. They don't need, I know when people, and I do this thorough application and questioning process because I really need to know that they're the right client, especially because my client pool is so small at this point because of working with the franchise
Because of
that I'm
13
extreme.
grandchildren.
Yeah. No, it's not because of them, but
It
we're
should
building the franchise
be.
because of them. I'll just
Yeah,
tell you that for
exactly.
sure. So we can leave it behind. But I will tell you that I need to make sure I'm at a point where I need to make sure, and I have been for years, that is the right client for me and that I'm the right client for them. So if I don't feel like we have that energy, I'm just going to say, I don't think this is right or it's not going to work. And then I've even had individuals work with me for a small period of time. And then I watch them spend their money and doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my what happened? What are they? It's almost like you just see them spin out of control. The biggest issue I see is someone that's a new entrepreneur. So, oh my gosh, that shiny thing. And oh, someone tells me I have to go do that. And then I have to go do that.
Right.
Now I have to go do this. And they spend all their money doing all this crap. And then they're really not focusing on the things that matter to build the business. My whole philosophy is like, did you generate any money yet? Have you generated any money? Did you generate any income? And they're like, no, but I have to fix my website. I'm like, okay, screw the website, go
Go meet
generate some
people.
income. Do
Right.
something. Like you've got to generate income. That to me is the easiest, fastest path.
Right.
always to building confidence. Now you have more money to pour into the business, to do more things. You've got to go generate the money. And I just can't
And then I think
understand.
we all, what I call it is, because I have all the empathy in the world for these situations. I've fallen to those situations, like,
Yep.
right? And so I have all the
No.
empathy. I think what happens is we are susceptible to buying into somebody else's dream and not stopping to really know. And this is, like you said, you need a life coach for really know, is this our dream, or were we susceptible for some reason to the story and the outcome they were offering?
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It
I see
happens a
that
lot.
happen a lot. And I have spent tens and thousands of dollars on
Oh,
mistakes.
yeah. And you learn from them. So I absolutely think there's a blessing in all of it, right? You learn from it, you learn from it. Hopefully you do it less and less.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it really is. It's a challenging side of the business.
So, Erin, when you work with your clients, do you work with them like on a customized level?
Everything's customized.
Yeah. See, I'm the same way. And
Everything, because
so,
I don't believe that's my
yeah.
whole thing that this is the big, like, as a business coach, you'll get this. Stop trying to solve every business problem with a marketing tactic. And so people buy a tactic, write a book. None of the tactics are bad, by the way. You just
Mhm.
don't know if they're right. Write a book, become a speaker, create a funnel, like any of them, whatever they are. And they're all great, but are they right for you? And are they the right stage of your business? And what happens is it's got to be strategy before tactics every single time. And what is the outcome you're trying to create? And then backfill it with the tactics that'll
Yeah,
get you there.
I agree with you. I asked that question because I knew you would say that. Erin is like the perfect person for anyone listening that has a business. No, I'm just going to be honest, that has a business to hire, because you're going to take their situation, where they're at. I always say to my clients, I meet you where you're at. So
Right.
where are you? What's happening? And what worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? Because I could sell milk to a cow. Someone might not feel very comfortable doing that. To me, it's
Right.
just a regular
It's just that, right.
conversation.
I can get on stage, and here's a perfect example. I can get on stage in front of 1,000 people and have the time of my life.
Same.
I hate posting on social
Yeah.
media.
Oh, but you know what? I
Right,
don't
but I'm
mind it.
past, right. I
I
do
just
my
wish I could have
version of it.
someone follow me around and
Right.
like
I do
video
my,
it and
that's what I
edit it
did.
and
That's
put
what I
it out for me.
basically did for me is
Yeah.
I put it all on YouTube because now I can
Yeah.
just talk. I just created a fake stage.
Which I love. So I think it's important for us to remember to build a circle of people around us, that support system, whether it's mentors, whether it's coaches, whether
It's
it's
a,
friends, whether it's whatever is in that social capital bucket for you, construct it the way you want it. The feed that you see, construct it on your social media, the people you want to be connected to, construct it. Don't follow the people that maybe started following you, whatever. Unfriend people that you don't want to have in your feed. I've had people friend me and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be their friend. Then all of a sudden they started messaging me like 5 times over on Facebook right away. And I'm like, out,
out.
blocked. Like
Right. There's a reason
I
my
don't want
TikTok
that.
algorithm knows it's baby goats. And I'm like, it's springs, right? So I'm on baby watch for farms and rescues across the country. It's amazing.
Mine are all comedians
Yes.
because
And the
I want to get on
comedians.
TikTok to
Yes.
laugh. So
It's
mine are all,
comedians,
yeah.
dancing, like
Yes.
world of dance, like real dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed. They're so impressive. And
Did you watch The World of Dance
I
when it was
have,
on?
yeah,
Oh,
I've seen
we loved that show. My
it's so,
husband was like, why are they not coming back with
so
another season?
this is, I'll land with this. You're going to laugh. And then we got to tell people how to get a hold of you.
Okay.
One of the things that I say to myself when I find myself procrastinating, which for me is how fear manifests, right? So
Mhm.
it's got to be
Oh, yeah.
something. If I'm not, I'm a lot of action. So if I'm not taking action, there's something going on.
Mhm.
And the thing that I say to myself, if that 15-year-old kid can get on The Voice, I can do this. That's got to
That's
be
right.
horrifying.
Yeah. And I don't think it's as much of the 8-year-old because they don't really
They
have
don't
that
even
fear
get
built up yet.
it.
So it's
Right.
not the littlest ones. They
No,
just
they
are
don't.
like, whatever, mom and dad told me to come out here. It's the 15-year-old. It's
If
the
the
one that's already
15 to
felt
25,
judgment.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. That's incredible. crazy incredible. But
Oh,
I don't think any of them would get out on a stage of 1,000 people like you and I and give a signature keynote, right?
well, and it's, you know what? Your desire for the outcome has to be greater than your fear of the thing.
That was perfect. We could just leave it on that note.
Okay, all right, we'll do more. We'll keep just going because this is awesome. I think it's really important. And how do people get a hold of you and continue this conversation?
I talk a lot about people building their Google resume because when you do what we do as entrepreneurs, you don't have a resume you're handing someone to get a job, right? So people are soft stalking you all over the place on every channel
So
you're on
true.
to find you, to see what you're doing. They're not like ColleenBiggs.net and going to my website. That's usually not what they're doing. They're like Colleen Biggs on Google. What happens? What pops up? I used to have 4 things out there. Now I have 6 pages and all the other Colleen Biggs disappeared and you can't find them at all. So I always tell everyone, like, you can Google me. I'm 2 L's, 2 E's, 2 G's. It's easy, but it might be quicker just to go to ColleenBiggs.net. If you want to read more about me, connect with me, maybe even attend a free event online or see what I do or anything about my community, get my podcast. Also, I would say on YouTube, I love YouTube. Anytime you Google anything, YouTube's got mad algorithms. Like the first
Yeah.
thing that pops up is LinkedIn and YouTube and all those videos. I've got a lot of videos out there promoting so many amazing individuals and what they do. And I think it's important that we continue learning from others because if learning is beneath you, then leadership will
Oh,
always be beyond you.
100%. Oh, that was amazing. We'll do round 2 and just talk about that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and spending time and having an open, honest conversation that I know will help people. So thank
We
you.
will never get anything done if we hung out together.
I
We
know
would
there's
just
certain people, if
go
we
away.
live near each other, nothing
Yeah.
done.
You'd be like, I can't talk to you right now. I've got to do my work. No, you can't come over because I won't get anything done for the next
I
2
won't
hours.
get anything done. Awesome. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erin.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. I truly enjoy bringing these stories of success and inspiration to you. Please join us in our mission to empower entrepreneurs to be in charge of their businesses and in charge of their lives by sharing this with anyone you know who would benefit from our tactical and motivating advice, leaving us a review, and letting us know if there are any particular topics you would really appreciate hearing about. See you next time.